Please take a comfortable seat. Thanks for getting the record button, Susie. I appreciate that. So please sit comfortably and with enthusiasm. I'll be whatever you are right now, but if you can, sit comfortably and with enthusiasm. You're welcome to close your eyes if you prefer that for your settling in process. Rest your hands in your lap. And first I'm going to ask you just to come into relationship with the present moment as it is, not needing anything to be different. We've been talking a lot this weekend in our yoga teacher training about the dosha, the Pitta dosha. Pitta, being comprised of fire and water, is the dosha that it acts like a catalyst and a transformational process. So Pitta is capable of seeing the present moment and inspiring it to be different. And sometimes Pitta overdoes that and continually wants the present moment to be different. That would be Pitta out of balance. Now the Kapha dosha is our focus for the first part of class this morning. And Kapha is the most grounded, the most stable, the most unctuous of the doshas. And it has a capacity for accepting the present moment as it is, even in the present moment's changeability. So it's the least likely to sort of demand or coerce that the present moment change. However, Kapha can become kind of sedentary or a little bit, it goes from agreeable, past agreeable into apathy. So it's wonderful to have an agreeable nature, but when your agreeable nature becomes sedentary or apathetic, or it keeps accepting things without knowing what needs to be motivated, integrated, or transformed, then Kapha runs the risk of becoming stagnant. So we're going to begin our practice by just welcoming the present moment as it is. So for Pitta minds, not to try to change it, and Kapha minds, not to daydream, but to really sense the freshness of the present moment. And you can sense this freshness through your senses, the senses themselves. Like eyes closed or gazing down, but notice the quality of light against your lids. The temperature of the air in your room or the contact of the clothing that you're wearing against your skin. Bring fresh attention to this. Any residue of taste on the tongue, any sense of fragrance in the air in your room. We're not seeking the sensory input, we're just noticing what is present. And then sound, noticing whatever sounds are present, without even having to name the sounds. For those of you with a more Pitta dominant mind, practice noticing and accepting, not trying to modify, not coercing. Those whose minds are more dominated by Kapha, practice noticing and staying really fresh with the noticing. like a slight change of temperature on the skin, a change of the quality of light against your eyelids. As you're practicing observing, remind yourself the present moment is not yours to orchestrate. We are placing ourselves in the larger orchestra of life by being here. And for these moments, the present moment is ours to witness, and all this phenomena offers itself for the purpose of our awakening to it. So we can actually come with immense gratitude, sounds, temperature, light, fragrance, taste, all guiding us to the present, where we then are able to drop even more deeply in to wisdom, discernment, grace, love, and belonging. And please bring your hands together at your heart now. We'll sing Asatoma Satkamaya, and we'll sing in call and response. Please don't look for the words. Listen for the words in your ears and in your heart. Asatoma, Asatoma, Satkamaya, Satkamaya, Tamasoma, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma, Mrityorma, Amritam Gamaya, Amritam Gamaya. Again, in call and response. Om Asatoma, Om Asatoma, Satkamaya, Satkamaya, Tamasoma, Tamasoma, Jyotirgamaya, Jyotirgamaya, Mrityorma, Mrityorma, Amritam Gamaya, Amritam Gamaya. Again, in call and response. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. And again in call and response. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Om. Noticing without pride if you were quote unquote successful, without dismay if you found it challenging, just noticing the after effect of making the effort, participating. And when you exhale, you then may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands. So I was deliberately changing the pace of the chant, and then I deliberately also changed the tone for the last time through. So what I'm using there is rhythm and voice tone to encourage your Kapha nature to rise a little bit, to come up to speed, as it were. And I don't mean to say up to speed in the sense that our culture is dominated by Pitta. That is the nature of our cultural conditioning. And I'm not expecting you to operate at the level of a Pitta temperament, particularly because Kapha is so important to our well-being. It is the ground from which we are nurtured, nourished, stabilized, connected to each other as well. So we want to prevent Kapha from becoming stagnant and open up Kapha's willingness to be spontaneous, creative, sometimes a little bit fiery, a little bit stronger. So the practice is going to reflect that this morning as well. And on behalf of International Yoga Day, which is a holiday made just a few years back by India, we're going to practice respecting the Kapha and Pitta dosha. And towards the end of practice, we will respect also the Vata dosha, all three doshas. We all have all three doshas within us, and all three doshas are in nature. So you can consider that you have a dominant temperament mentally and physically, and you probably have an imbalance in your dominant temperament. So everybody does, we can just sort of confess it to ourselves that this is the state of things. And then we work on it in our yoga practice. So let's go to the main camera, Susie, and I'll stand up. You guys can come up to standing, please. And I'll move backwards to my mat. And I'd like you to have 2 yoga blocks for the practice as well. And these 2 blocks can be at the front of your mat. Those of you who've known me for any amount of time, you know that I have to straighten this yoga mat out, even though you can't see my floorboards as specifically as I can. I could see it and I had to straighten it. This is one of my compulsions. So come to the front of your mat for Surya Namaskar. Bring your palms together at your heart. Place the tip of your tongue behind the top two teeth so that the back of the throat can become more hollow. And you'll hear the whispering sound of your Ujjayi breath. You'll hear it with the inner ear. Establish the sound of the breath as something for your Pitta mind, the part of your mind that is Pitta, to take refuge in the sound of the breath, to be intrigued, nourished, soothed by that sound. At the same time, we want the breath to be strong enough to nourish the Kapha dosha, not to be like all soothed and heavy and unctuous into apathy. So bring your mind down into your body, bring your breath down into your body, and plan to nourish the elements of earth and water, to move through your body very gracefully. Let's inhale, raise the arms up overhead, lift your heart, open your throat, lift your gaze. Exhale, sit down to chair pose. Inhale while you're in chair pose. Now exhale, bend your knees more deeply and bring your hands down to your blocks. And then inhale, press into your heels, begin to slowly straighten your legs. And exhale for a deeper bow towards your legs and press into your blocks with your hands so that you feel the tone of the low belly. Then inhale, come up to your fingertips and glide your heart forward. We're going to reverse that. So exhale, bend your knees deeply, keep your hands on your blocks. So this is the deepest part of your chair pose legs. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, raise your torso to chair pose. Now exhale, push down to rise up. And then inhale to open like a standing back bend up in your heart, your collarbones and your throat. And exhale, bring that back to your heart, Anjali Mudra. Repeating, inhale, raise your arms, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Utkatasana, chair pose. Breathe in while you're here and expand the back parachute of your body. And then exhale, bend your knees more deeply. Place your hands on your blocks so you're not yet squatting, but you're pretty close. And then inhale, press into your heels and slowly straighten your legs towards Uttanasana. On the exhale, press into your blocks, tone the low belly to more deeply, even more completely exhale. Then inhale, glide your heart forward, raise up on your fingertips. Exhale, bend both knees deeply as you were a few moments ago. And then inhale, stretch your arms forward, lift the parachute of your back body to chair pose. Exhale, push down to rise up. And on the inhale, open like a standing back bend, like a fountain, upwards through your heart, your throat, and your eyes. Exhale, hands to your heart. Now, full Surya Namaskar. Inhale. We're going to include that sequence again. So when you exhale, bend your knees. Here's chair pose. Tone the deep low belly to complete the exhale. Inhale into the parachute of your back body. Exhale, deeply bend the knees. Rest your hands on your blocks. Inhale, straighten your legs. Slowly tip the torso down like a waterfall. And exhale to deeply engage the low belly. On behalf of a more complete exhale, press into both hands on your blocks. Then inhale, glide your heart forward. Come to your fingertips. Exhale, place both hands, step backwards to downward dog pose. I am using my blocks for downward dog pose. You don't need to if you don't want to. Exhale, roll forward to plank pose. Gaze back at your toes. In plank pose, inhale, gaze just in front of your thumbs.
Exhale, reach high to downward dog pose. Gaze back between your heels. Inhale, roll forward to plank pose. Gaze at your toes. Exhale, gaze just forward of your thumbs on the floor. This time, inhale, reach high to downward dog pose. Gaze back between your heels. One more time, exhale, roll forward to plank. Gaze back at your toes. Inhale, gaze just in front of your thumbs. On the exhale, lightly touch your knees down, table pose. Inhale, cat pose, gaze down between your knees. Exhale, cow pose, bring your heart forward, open your throat, lift your gaze. Inhale, glide your heart through your upper arms, seal pose. And then exhale to table pose. Notice the low belly transitions you there. Inhale, cat pose. Gaze between your knees or towards your belly button. Exhale, cow pose. Bring your heart forward. Lift your gaze. Open your throat. Inhale, glide through the upper arms to seal pose. And exhale, press down to arrive at table pose. One more time, inhale to cat. Exhale to cow. Listen for the Ujjayi breath, so your Pitta mind is listening to the smoothness of the breath. Inhale, glide through the upper arms to seal pose. Your knees are on the floor in seal pose. And exhale, press into table pose slowly. Notice the lower belly supporting you to get there. And then plank pose. And downward facing dog pose. Reconnect to the smooth sound of your Ujjayi breath. Don't let that get away from you. One of the beauties of the Kapha dosha is its smoothness, its unctuousness. Smooth and unctuous like the texture of olive oil. Exhale, bring your right foot forward, please. Inhale, rise up, crescent lunge. Then exhale, rotate, warrior two. Inhale, right arm to your right thigh, side angle pose, Parsvakonasana. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, rising warrior. And exhale, windmill your arms over to touch the two blocks. Inhale, downward dog pose. Exhale, left foot forward. Place your feet to their hip distance apart, please. Left to right. Inhale, crescent lunge. The exhale, warrior two. Notice how stable the front knee can be. Inhale, side angle pose. Exhale, warrior two. Inhale, rising warrior. Exhale, windmill your arms over. Don't rush the breath. Everything can be smooth like olive oil on the skin of the body during a massage. Inhale, right foot forward, heart forward. Exhale, deeply bow towards your legs. Press into your hands to help complete the exhale. Now inhale to chair pose. Exhale, push down to rise up, upward hands pose. Inhale to open to a standing back bend. Exhale to the heart. Again, inhale. Okay, exhale, chair pose. Inhale, parachute to the back body. Exhale deeper into your hips and knees for chair pose, hands to your blocks. Inhale, straighten your legs, pour the torso down like a waterfall. And then exhale for a deeper bow into your legs. Press into your palms to tone your low belly. Inhale, glide forward, raise to your fingertips. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, gaze towards your toes, plank pose. Exhale, gaze in front of your thumbs. Inhale, seal pose or upward dog pose, you can decide. Exhale, plank pose. Inhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, crescent lunge. Virabhadrasana 2. Parshvakonasana. Virabhadrasana 2. Arrive as the exhale is completing, so you're not rushing anything. Inhale, rising warrior. Exhale, windmill. Inhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, left foot forward. Inhale, crescent lunge. Beautiful, thank you. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, Parshvakonasana. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, rising warrior. Exhale, windmill. Inhale, step forward, heart forward. And exhale for a deep bow towards your legs. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, push down to rise up. Beautiful, thank you. Inhale for a standing back bend. Exhale, Anjali Mudra. I'm going to add to the sequence. So inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Nice job. Exhale, chair pose. Enjoy the inhale, parachute to the back body. So the mind of Pitta stays inside the body. Exhale, deeper down. Your hands can go to your blocks. Now inhale, pour your torso down over your legs as you root into your heels and raise up with your hips. Exhale for the deeper bow into your Uttanasana. Then inhale, glide forward with no sense of rushing or urgency. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, plank pose, gaze towards your toes. No rushing, please. Exhale, gaze forward in front of your thumbs. Inhale, seal or upward dog pose. Point the toes behind you. You can have the knees on the floor or you can have the knees up. We're going to stay for a few breath cycles. So roll your shoulders back. Lift your collarbones up. Nice job. And let the breath continue to come down to the low pelvis. Yes. Okay, inhale again, please. And then exhale, push down, roll up, plank pose. And inhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, right foot forward. Inhale, crescent lunge. Okay, this time on the exhale, bend your left knee, lightly touch the floor, come towards it. Inhale to go up, crescent lunge. Again, exhale, lightly touch or come towards touching. Good. Inhale to rise. And now we'll exhale, warrior 2. No sense of hurry. Inhale, side angle pose. Exhale, rising warrior pose. Move all the way through. Inhale, side angle pose. Exhale, rising warrior pose. Root down through your legs to rise up with your right arm. Inhale, side angle pose. One more time, exhale, rise up, rising warrior. And now inhale, windmill the arms over. And exhale backwards, downward facing dog. Enjoy the in-breath while you're in dog pose. Exhale, left foot forward. When your inhale comes, rise up to your crescent lunge. And then exhale, bend your right knee, come part way or all the way down, lightly. Inhale, sprout up, like you're in the garden. Yeah. Exhale, I mean like a sprout in the garden. I don't mean that you are a sprout. Rise up. And then warrior two, rotate slowly. Keep your front knee stable so that this knee still points in line with your third toe. Inhale, side angle pose. Now exhale, rising warrior. Inhale, side angle. So in side angle pose, your pelvis will tip your torso over your left thigh, like tipping a teapot. And on the rising warrior, you want to bring the torso back upright like a warrior two torso and pelvis, excuse me. Let's do it again. So when you inhale, side angle pose, rotate your pelvis. When you exhale, warrior two, bring your pelvis back upright. Yeah, one more time. Good job. I'm looking at you in my mirror where I can see the monitors. Here's the last one, we're exhaling. And then inhale, windmill your arms over. And as you touch down, now step backwards to downward dog pose again. Inhale to plank, gaze back towards your toes. Exhale, touch your knees down. Reach your hips back. Take one block for your head for child's pose. And when you come to child's pose, practice the delicate art of just witnessing. Again, especially for your Pitta dominant minds, practice observing without modifying, without coercing or creating. I mean, you could even go so far as to say, let the Pitta mind practice without so much adherence to the high standards that Pitta keeps raising for itself. And let the Kapha mind come a little bit more present, so it can raise up its standards, we could say. So Kapha is rising. We're going to bring Pitta down to cause a balancing between those two. And then please walk your hands back towards your knees. And take one block to sit on in Zazen. Like this. Now I'm going to ask you to check something. When you're sitting up on this block, and you're going to bend forward, let's say to child's pose, check and see that you're not going to fall forward. If you go like this, you don't have the sense that you're going to fall on your head. Now, something that I could give you, and I'm going to recommend you try it and see what's helpful to you. If you take a blanket like this, and you place it under your knees, now your knees are higher, and when you come down, you will sooner have the tone of the belly. Okay, so I am trying to close the belly there. I am trying to have a little pressure on the abdomen so that there's a kind of embrace or hugging of this region of the body. So when you come down, whether you have a blanket for the knees or not, we are looking for this sort of full closure of the torso. Okay, and the block there is for the head, so that you don't have to get it all the way to the floor. You decide based on your setup. So I have this block between my feet. That's what I'm sitting on. Yeah. Okay. Please come upright. Let yourself get relatively still. We're going to do a short pranayama, and I don't want your body and mind to be all discombobulated. Okay, so it's going to go like this. We'll begin this way. Inhale, raise both arms. That's an Ujjayi inhale. Now exhale with a sound. Inhale, rise up, Ujjayi inhale. Exhale with a sound. Inhale, rise up. Exhale with a sound. Once more, inhale, rise up. Exhale with a sound. Hands to your knees. Rise up to kneeling. Pause. Let your mind reflect like the full moon on the nighttime pond. Let your mind reflect. The moon knows its light source is not its own, and the pond knows the same. Now we're going to do this with the arms differently. So hands behind your back, please. So inhale through the nose. You can just very lightly hold the hands together. And exhale to come down. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, roll down. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, roll down. One more. Rise up to sit. Rest your hands in your lap. Reflect again, like the full moon, reflecting on the nighttime pond.
And both the pond and the moon, they know the light source is not their own. Now this time when we go down, on the exhale, we're going to exhale, 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 and you'll be staying down. We're going to hold the exhale breath out. And what's going to happen is you've squeezed the belly, you've toned, toned, toned. You're holding the exhale out, but you're going to relax these belly muscles. Because there'll be no inhale coming in, you're going to cause an internal suction. When that suction feels complete for you and you've hovered in it for a few moments, if you're a beginner, just a few moments. If you're experienced, you can go a little bit longer. But you'll release the exhale suspension and you'll inhale slowly to come back up. So once through, for me, it looks like this. If this is new for you, please watch. If you've done it, you can come with me. Here's the in-breath. Okay, so in that period of time when I was down there, I was not breathing, and you were hopefully not worried about me. So the exhale, 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 we've squeezed the breath out. There's plenty of oxygen in your brain and body from your practice so far, so no worries about being deprived of oxygen. What you're practicing down there, you've toned the belly, you hold the exhale out, you relax the belly muscles, and internal suction occurs. You might feel it at the pelvic floor, across the deep low belly. You might feel it in the throat, in all three bandhas. And then when you're ready to, you inhale silently. You don't go to come back up. Okay, I can't hear you do it anyway, but I'm making the recommendation that you come up silently. Okay, so place the hands. We'll do it about 3 times total. It's quite powerful. We'll do 3 and then we'll reflect one more time. Let's start with the inhale together and then you'll be at your own pace. The breathing in. And you exhale to continue. Do not make yourself breathless. You have one more round. When you inhale to come up, you can then rest your hands in your lap.
Invite your mind to be reflective, like the full moon in the night sky, like the water on the nighttime pond. Now, while we are here, we're set up for a pose that we can do. If you need to shake your legs out, please do that. Otherwise, step your right foot forward. So with the right foot forward, right knee up. You have your block, turn it this way, please. We're going to come down to the inside of the right thigh. If you'd like, you can scoot your right foot out to the side. When you come down, bring your right arm in, inside the right knee like this. This block is here for the twist we're going to be adding. So place the left hand for now down. So in this particular class, we have a variety of body types, a variety of body lengths for the limbs, a variety of body doshas and ages, and also experience levels with yoga. So for those of you who would like to, you can take the right arm and wrap it around the outside of your shin. Now the blanket makes a place where you can rest your wrist. I'm not someone whose arm wraps around to hold, but some of you are, and you could take your left hand around and hold both hands back there. I'm going to rest my wrist on the outside of this blanket here so that I do get that sense of the flexion of the upper torso. Some of you will find that as you're bowing forward, it's kind of nice. If the block were the right height, you could rest your head on it. Others are going to find that it's too low, which is the case for me. So we don't make a goal that's unreasonable in the practice. And then please release your right arm, rise up for a moment. So you're going to come up to sit, stretch the right leg out. You're going to notice that there's probably a little warmth that will run down your leg, and that's because you had compressed the hip joint for a time. Let that warm energy move down all the way to your heel and your toes. Yes, the left knee is still in here like this. Okay, and you are still sitting up on your block. Yeah, you can raise both arms. And then exhale to come forward. This is actually called something in Sanskrit. I want to say it's Trayang Mukha something Paschimottanasana, but I'll have to ask Chris later. I can't recall the name of it. Part of that is my concussion, and also that we don't teach this pose very often. And I do recommend this time, if you are able to, that you have a block for your head to rest on. And it's okay for the belly to touch the thighs. You are that low for some. For others, you're not quite that low to the legs, and that is also okay. Walk your hands back towards your blanket. Press yourself up to sitting. Now return your block like this. Bend your right knee. So now the block is down here for this variation on a twist. So with your shin, your left shin or knee supported by the blanket, so it's a little bit higher. With your foot on the floor, so it's not elevated, and your hips supported. Come down with your left forearm. Hold your right ankle with your left hand. Right hand to your right knee. And twist to your right. And let's focus this twist so that you've got both sitting bones hopefully still seated firmly on that one block. And as you're twisting, you have a couple of options. One is that if the twist feels pretty flexible for you, walk your left elbow closer to your right shin and walk your left hand up towards your right knee. So you're giving a little bit more rotation of your left shoulder blade around the outside edge of your rib cage. There should be some compression of your right thigh against your abdomen. Encourage the back of the body, the back of your torso, kidneys, organs to receive the breath. One more twist. Use the leverage of the hands wisely to encourage a little deeper turn in your heart. And then please rise up. Okay, and take the right shin, bring it back around. Step your left foot forward over your blanket. Okay, so you have your right knee supported by your blanket. I have a lump in my blanket. I have to move the lump. It was a perfectly placed lump. And so the left leg is up like this. You can have your block in preparation for where we're going. And now we're gonna walk the left foot a little bit left. So you've got the inner thigh and the torso as you come down. Yep. You can reach past your block, past your toes. Let the head bow forward. And some of you are gonna benefit from and even enjoy, and some don't need to change the pose at all. This is your end range. Now, if your Pitta dominant mind and your Pitta body think, oh goody, there's somewhere else to get to, I'm going to ask you to stay right here in this pose. And if the Kapha mind is like, oh, this is good enough, I'm okay, I'm going to ask you to try the next horizon or some movement towards it. Okay, so you could take the left arm and bring it around. I'm going to rest the back of my hand on the floor because that's as far as my reach goes, given my body proportions, the length of my limbs, and the depth of my forward bend. Those of you who are people who reach back and bind, so long as it's not because your Pitta thinks you're extraordinary, go ahead and reach for it. But if your Pitta does think you're extraordinary or that it must do that binding, try not doing it and letting the fire of the Pitta mind soften into a more Kapha-like approach to the pose. And if your Kapha mind is like, oh, it's good enough, when will this be over? I'm done with this one. Try making the breath a little stronger, your mind a little more attentive. Increase your commitment to the present moment. Now we're going to rise up to sitting, and this is where you're going to stretch the left leg straight forward, and you get a chance to notice that there should be some warmth. If circulation is working, there will be some warmth that runs down your left leg. Now I just moved my blanket back into position here because the lump is going to be less of a problem when I went to the other side of my lump, but also because I do like having the support under the knee for where we're going. And so once your leg feels like it's a regular temperature, it's kind of like it's all connected again, and inhale, raise your arms up, and exhale to come forward. And for those for whom it's suited to you, you can use a block for your head. Now my mind is like, well, what is the Sanskrit for this yoga pose? And I do have a primary Pitta constitution, so let me ask you not to tell me the name of the pose. You just save it for later. I'm going to set aside my curiosity about it, my mental wonderings about it, so I can stay in the present moment. And I'm going to ask you to do the same. And however flexible you are in a pose like this, support yourself to balance the dosha of your mind and your body. In this case, the mental dosha of Pitta does not need to be overdone. The Kapha mind should not be too lethargic. So Pitta can concentrate on the lovely sound of the breath in the inner ear. And Kapha can make the breath a little bit more robust, so you're really committed to the present moment. And root down with your inhale, rise up. And then release your arms. Okay, let's bend the left knee. And this is where the twist with the block comes in. So you can place the block like this across the front of your mat. I guess I do still have a lump in my blanket. And then come down with your right forearm towards your block. You can hold your left ankle. Take your left hand to your left knee and please twist to your left. And as you're twisting, I want you to really sense how it's not just that you're twisting your left shoulder is not driving the twist. It's not just that you're twisting your left rib cage to the left. You're really bringing the right posterior rib cage, the right shoulder blade, the right side ribs around in the twist. And for anybody who your body would like to go a little deeper, and it's not because your Pitta is demanding it, you can walk your right elbow to the edge of the block, something like this. Place your right hand up with your left hand. And the hand should be used for what I like to call wise leverage. And we are going to exhale to unwind, come around, rise up. Let's take the right foot out as well as the left foot. And for a few moments, you can pause right here. Let the mind be quiet. And sense what's happening in your body. You're going to a cool place now, an interesting place, a hip place. What should I say? An intriguing place. We're going to an intriguing place in the practice now. So we'll do this seated pose. Again, if you have to shake your legs out, please go ahead and do so. We're going to play with this seated pose. And then when we come down to the floor, we're going to be visiting with your psoas again, like we did yesterday, but in a completely different approach to the psoas. So here I'd like you to stack 2 blocks like this, and then take a seat on them. And do your best to take the feet. This also has a Sanskrit name. You can write me later with what you know about it, or Chris can tell me after class. He's here practicing on the back deck. I can't recall this one right now either, so that's the nature of my memory right now. So what you're doing is like this, I show you. Then you put the hand in on each side. You're trying to bring the heels forward so that they're going to stand up a little bit more. Press the knees out to the side. So this is, for me right now, I'll say, just in case it's happening for anybody else, this is an incredible stretch on my forearms. You think, oh, we're stretching the legs. Yeah, we're stretching the legs and the feet, of course, and so on and so forth. You're shifting the shape of your pelvic floor. You're sitting upright, you're breathing, but for me, it's also incredible on my forearms. So you can wrap your fingers around your ankles. That's where my fingers are here. And you can lift up through your heart. Try lengthening your arms. Okay, and then we're going to release the hands. Place your hands against your knees and press out as you bow slightly forward. Yeah, and press the inner heels together. The big toe mounds are together. Please don't cause your toes to feel tortured in such poses. So you set it up so your toes can agree with you what you're doing. I'm having fun with you. Okay, so this position, we're bowing forward. You can stretch the inner thighs out. Yes, yes. Now for some of you, and it's too bad you can't see everybody at once because it would be really fun. And when we fall over in yoga class at the studio, it's kind of fun. But let's see if you can lift your hips off the blocks and actually balance. So you've come forward of the blocks. I know you can't see mine, but I did. Your hips are lifted. You're probably not resting your hips on your heels, but you are hovering above them. Keep stretching the knees out and smile at your efforts. You can even sing to yourself. Asatoma satgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Take the arms forward. Rityodama amritam gamaya. Raise the arms upward. Just do your best. If you're falling over, I can't see you because I'm concentrating on looking down so that I don't fall over. Raise the upper back like a little back bend. Celebrate. If your small child is practicing with you, they're probably doing multiple variations of this right now. And then hands to the knees again. Press out. And then return your hips back to your blocks. And come up. Place the feet. Relax a moment like you're just at the campfire, just hanging out. There's circulation going back down through the knees, this we hope. Asatoma satgamaya tamasoma jyotirgamaya. Mrityodama amritam gamaya. Okay, now for adventuresome sorts, and I know Susan is here, and I know we have tried this pose. I will not be able to see you, Susan, because I'll be looking down at the floor, but I'm expecting good things for you. We go like this. You come down inside the knees. I just pushed my glasses aside because I don't need to break them. You place the hands. You come up to your high tippy toes, straighten the arms, and come up to crow pose. Gaze back at your toes. Squeeze the knees in against the upper arms. And then lightly touch the toes down. Sit your hips back on your blocks. Rise up to smile. I missed it, Susan. Here she goes. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we set the knees. Very good. That's awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. You're only this big, but you're this big in my happiness for you to try it. Thank you. Okay, let's come down to the floor for the psoas, which we're going to do before we have Shavasana. And Susie, I did set up my other camera. I will turn it on for you. It's called the side view. Okay, so we can go to the side view camera. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, you need your 2 blankets, you guys, like this. 1, fold it length to length, so it's a long blanket. Number 2, length to length, so it's a long blanket. This is going to nourish all 3 doshas, so the Vata dosha is going to get a release at Apana Vayu. The psoas will get some lengthening, which is helpful for your Pitta dosha. Let me do it this way. And it's going to involve a little twisty pose, so that's helpful for your Kapha nature. So you're going to be lying down with your blankets for your hips. There you go, like that. Yep. And let's start with the feet just resting on the floor. This is like supported bridge pose. Yeah. Take the arms out, palms face up. Now, after that work we were doing in the belly, I want you just to rest here for a few moments and notice what is happening in the low region of your pelvis. This is the center down here called Apana Vayu, responsible for elimination. It's also the first chakra, earth element, second chakra, water element, And Kapha is comprised of earth and water. Okay, when you feel that your breath and your body have settled here, then I'm going to ask you, you've got this extra long blanket. Lift your hips and move the blanket like a typewriter bar so that you have more blanket on your left than you do on your right. And then just keep that there for a few moments, okay? Bring both knees up to your chest. Notice that when your hips are supported by the blanket, the knees will have a gravity-supported movement in towards the chest, right, like that. So let's breathe in and exhale. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through the nose. Now inhale, bring your knees up just to the ceiling. Keeping this part of the body stable, so you should feel your low belly. Exhale, squeeze your knees into your chest using the exhale and the knees and gravity. Inhale, knees up to the ceiling without the lower lumbar spine being distorted. Exhale, knees to your chest, tone the deep low belly. Inhale, knees up to the ceiling, so the low to mid spine are both stable. Exhale, hug in. Good. Again, inhale, knees to the ceiling. And exhale to squeeze in. Last one. Inhale, knees up to the ceiling. Exhale, knees into your chest. Using the exhale, at the very end, you might even feel the pelvic floor a bit stronger. Now, bring your knees up to the ceiling. Open your right arm out to the side and take both knees down to the blanket that is there on your left. And if that blanket is not tall enough for your knees to reach, then you put your block. So for those who need that extra support, please provide it to yourself. And if you've had a hip replacement and you're doing this pose, please put a block between the knees. So this is a very slightly inverted twist. And the lumbar spine, we want to be mostly in flexion, but the thoracic spine, the upper back spine, we're bringing into extension, like a little back bend. One more breath, please. And then float your knees up towards the ceiling. If you had a block between the knees, go ahead and set it aside. And then keeping your right knee in close to your chest, lengthen your left leg out to stretch your left psoas. There you go. Good. Yeah, let the breath just be really simple and nourishing right now. Asatoma Sadgamayo. Let your mind and your body slow down. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. left heel. Float the leg up, make it long. And using your left low belly, float your left knee up to meet your right knee. Now let's touch the feet to the floor so we can move the typewriter bar to the other side. If you're too young to have used a typewriter, you just picture from a movie, maybe like a Pink Panther movie or something, or an old Alfred Hitchcock movie, or watch the Carol Burnett show on YouTube. You'll see typewriters. Okay, left arm out to the side. And then knees up so that they're going to come down onto the two blankets like this. And for those of you for whom the knees won't make it without the left arm dangling, I'm going to ask you to make a little support like this. If you've had a hip replacement, it's a good practice for your sacrum too if you have difficulty with your SI joint. And for some of you also, the block might make the difference between actually stacking your hips like this and having your left shoulder on the floor. And you could start that way if you want to, and then find out if the left shoulder will stay down as you bring your left knee down to meet your right knee. So there's just different variations or ways to approach this experience, but for the hip replacement or SI joint consideration, I am going to ask you to keep a block, a spacer between the two knees. Okay, breathe in again, please. And then using an exhale, tone the low belly, float your knees up to center. If you're using a block, you can put it aside. Keep your left knee in close and lengthen your right leg out to stretch your right psoas. You can lengthen it and then let it relax. It's okay. If you need to bend your knee a little bit for your heel to reach the floor, that is okay. Let your mind and your body slow down. You can think of the pace. Lift your right leg, reach through your heel. Amritam Gamayo. Use your right low belly to float your right knee up to your chest. Let both knees drop in. Let gravity support that process. We're going to take these two blankets to place just behind your sitting bones, under the top of your thighs and hamstrings. And if your feet have good dexterity, you can also do this with your blocks. So you have to place your blocks with your feet if you can. And then you get the feet elevated on the blocks. No wrinkles in your clothes underneath, so no lumps. And if the blocks feel like they're going to tip, then you have them, like mine, are a little too close together. So I try it again. Yeah. Okay, good job. I can see that. and then you rest. So when you come to rest, you only have your feet very slightly elevated. We have the thighs supported, so the knees should not be hyperextending. And where the blanket is, also the pelvis has just a very slight posterior tilt. It's possible that for some of you, your lower back is against the floor, and that for others, it's only partly against the floor. That's okay. Then you can tuck the shoulder blades under the heart. And let's do palms face down, please. Close your eyes. And bring your mental focus down into the low pelvis, low belly, and imagine like the dark pond in the night, the nighttime pond. And it knows when it's reflecting the moonlight, it's borrowing the light from the moon. And the moon knows it's borrowing the light from a much more distant source. So let's imagine the pelvis, the waters of the pelvis are relatively still and very reflective. Allow the bones of your hips and your pelvis to become heavier against the floor. We'll call this the pelvic basin, in which that nighttime pond is reflecting the moon. Allow the hip bones and your sacrum, the upper inner thigh bones, to deeply relax, to be welcomed by the earth beneath you. Keeping your mind at rest in the pelvis, let these bones get heavier and the interior of the pelvis more deeply clear and reflective. Keep your mind at rest inside the pelvis. Let your mind stay at rest inside the pelvis. The bones of the pelvis getting heavier. The water becoming more clear, more reflective. Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mridyorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Om Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om. You may very quietly deepen your breathing. Lightly wiggle your fingers and your toes. And use both hands. When you roll to your side, use both hands to come up to sitting, please. Take an upright seat. And close your eyes and get an inner sense of where you are, how you are, and what you are most deeply. And bring your hands together at your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. Very nice to be with you.